8 symptoms of a bad thermostat before it causes overheating. Your engine temperature should stay steady, not too hot, not too cold, right in the middle. But when the thermostat starts failing, that balance is lost. Sometimes the engine runs too hot, sometimes it never warms up properly, and sometimes the temperature seems to move in ways that don't make sense. That is how thermostat problems begin, not always with instant overheating, but with small temperature-related changes that get worse over time. And the reason this matters is simple. The thermostat controls how coolant flows through the engine. It decides when to open and when to stay closed. So if it gets stuck or stops responding correctly, the entire cooling system starts behaving the wrong way. And if ignored long enough, that can lead to serious overheating. In this video, I'll show you 8 common symptoms of a bad thermostat. And, more importantly, how to spot the problem early before it turns into engine damage. Let's go step by step. Symptom number 1. Engine overheating. This is the most obvious sign. If the thermostat gets stuck closed, coolant cannot flow properly. That means heat stays trapped inside the engine, and as the engine keeps running, temperature rises quickly. You may notice the temperature gauge climbing, warning lights turning on, or even steam from the engine bay. This is a serious condition because overheating can damage head gaskets, warp engine components, and lead to expensive repairs. So if overheating appears, the thermostat becomes a very strong suspect. Symptom number 2. Engine takes too long to warm up. Now let's look at the opposite situation. If the thermostat gets stuck open, coolant flows all the time. That prevents the engine from reaching proper operating temperature. You may notice the temperature gauge staying low, slow warm-up in the morning, or weak heater performance. This may not feel dangerous at first, but running too cold reduces engine efficiency, fuel economy, and performance. So even though it seems less serious, it still matters. Symptom number 3. Fluctuating temperature gauge. A healthy thermostat keeps temperature stable, but a failing one may open and close at the wrong times. That creates temperature swings. You may see the gauge rising, then dropping suddenly, then rising again. This kind of movement is not normal, and it often points to a thermostat that is sticking or reacting unpredictably. This is one of the early warning signs before full failure happens. Symptom number 4. Poor cabin heater performance. Your car's heater depends on hot coolant. If the thermostat is stuck open, coolant may never get hot enough. That means the heater blows lukewarm or even cold air. This is especially noticeable in cold weather. You turn on the heat, but the cabin never warms up properly. Many drivers think this is a heater issue, but in reality, it often points back to the thermostat. Symptom number 5. Coolant leaks near the thermostat housing. A failing thermostat can sometimes cause pressure problems in the cooling system. That extra pressure can stress hoses, gaskets, or the thermostat housing itself. And over time, this can lead to leaks. You may notice coolant around the housing, drips under the car, or a sweet smell after driving. This is not always the first symptom, but when it appears together with temperature issues, it becomes more meaningful. Symptom number 6. Radiator hose temperature difference. This is a useful diagnostic clue. When the engine is warm, coolant should flow through the system. If the thermostat is stuck closed, one hose may be very hot, while another stays relatively cool. That difference shows coolant is not circulating properly. This is something mechanics often check when diagnosing cooling problems. It is not always something drivers notice directly, but it is a strong indicator of thermostat issues. Symptom number 7. Increased fuel consumption. When the engine runs too cold, the computer may keep adding more fuel because it thinks the engine is still warming up. This creates a richer mixture, and a richer mixture means more fuel is used. So if your fuel economy drops and the engine never reaches normal temperature, the thermostat may be the cause. This is one of the hidden symptoms because it does not feel dramatic, but over time it affects your fuel costs. Symptom number 8. Check engine light. Modern vehicles monitor engine temperature behavior. If the thermostat does not respond the way it should, the system may detect it and turn on the check engine light. You may see codes related to coolant temperature, thermostat performance, or engine warm-up issues. This is one of the ways the car tells you something is not working correctly, even before overheating becomes obvious. Now here is something very important. How do you spot a bad thermostat early? Start with the pattern. Ask yourself, is the engine overheating or staying too cold? Does the temperature fluctuate? Is the heater working properly? Has fuel economy changed? These clues matter because thermostat problems often show up as temperature behavior, not just one single failure. Also, pay attention to how the problem develops. Thermostats usually do not fail instantly. They stick, they respond slowly, they behave inconsistently. And that gradual change is your early warning. So what should you check first? Start simple. Watch the temperature gauge. Notice how fast the engine warms up. Check heater performance. Look for coolant leaks. And if needed, scan the vehicle for codes, because proper diagnosis helps avoid replacing the wrong parts. So let's quickly recap. A bad thermostat may cause engine overheating, slow warm-up, fluctuating temperature, poor heater performance, coolant leaks, uneven hose temperatures, higher fuel consumption, and a check engine light. Some of these signs start small, some get worse slowly, and some only appear when the problem becomes serious. That is why early detection matters, because a simple thermostat problem, if ignored, can turn into major engine damage. And now I want to hear from you. What was the first sign you noticed? Overheating, cold engine, no heat, or a warning light? Comment below with your experience. And if enough people mention the same issue, I'll make the next video on that exact problem.